Hello everybody and welcome back to more political chatter. In this video we will be talking about my updated election prediction between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, the rematch that everybody fears but we know is going to unfortunately happen. Donald Trump is currently destroying all of his Republican opponents. His main opponent, his chief opponent, Ron DeSantis, was once seen as someone who could actually defeat Trump in the primary. However, his momentum is long gone, and he's polling third in many cases behind Vivek Ramaswamy. And there really is no one strong enough, I feel, to beat Trump in the Republican primary. Joe Biden currently is being faced by two primary challengers, and they are polling well above any incumbent really since I don't even know who. Maybe George H.W. Bush. Yeah, probably George H.W. Bush in 1992. No incumbent president has seen opposition like this. They're polling, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Marianne Williamson are polling at 30% combined in many cases. However, he still is leading, by a lot. When it's 60 to 20 to 10, we do know who the winner will be. It will be Joe Biden in the end. So with that being said, let's get into this election prediction. Now there's one major thing to know, and that is the candidacy of Cornel West of the Green Party. He's the presumptive Green Party nominee. I did not put him on, with Biden and Trump because I don't believe that he will win any states. But when you're polling at 5% in a few states, you know, we don't even know about swing states. Like, he's not even included in many of the polls in like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia. But Cornel West, if he just wins a few percentage points, even 3%, that really could change this election so much, and it will. So we will be talking about Cornel West in this election matchup because it really is a very important topic. I mean, Cornel West could shape this election. One more thing, the No Labels Party could very well run someone. And I've made an election night with no labels in, and that is a whole nother story, okay? I will not be going into that right now, but that would be really spectacular because they are polling at, 15 to 20%. I mean, if they run Larry Hogan or Joe Manchin, that could really shake things up. But anyway, with that out of the way, let's get into this election prediction with our safe Democratic states. So these are states that I believe will be decided by a 15% margin or more. That will be California. That will be Washington. And yeah, that will be Hawaii. That will be Illinois. That will be Washington, D.C., Maryland, Delaware, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, and Maine's first. And again, Cornel West makes all of this so much more interesting. Now moving on to safe Republican states. I hope I wasn't forgetting any safe Democratic states. Don't think so. Safe Republican states, that's Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana. I guess so. North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska at large, Nebraska's 1st district, Nebraska's 3rd district, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Indiana, West Virginia, and that will be it. So, after all the safe states, that puts Joe Biden in the lead at 159 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 107. 272 are yet to be called. Now we will move into likely states. These states will be decided by a 5 to 15% margin, and we will start with the Democratic ones. And Oregon is one that I think moves from safe to likely. 2020 it was safe, but with that candidacy of Cornel West could win upwards of 8%, 10% really, in Oregon. I mean, then it would get really interesting, but I'm thinking about 6, 7, or 8% in Oregon. Very progressive state. The Democrats would really like Cornel West. Many would switch from Biden to Cornel West. And as we will see across the country, Cornel West definitely hurts Biden, really nationwide, because yes, a lot of his voters will be new voters. It's not like 100% of his voters are 2020 Biden voters. Many are new voters. Many have never voted before. Many voted for Jill Stein in 2020, and they voted Green their entire lives, or other third parties. So, but still, many of his votes will come from Joe Biden. That will hurt Biden in Oregon. Um, Same goes for New Jersey. It was safe in 2020. With Cornel West, it won't quite be safe, but he will still win it. And then we have the state of Colorado, which for since for months, years even actually, that this channel that I've been doing these election predictions in Biden versus Trump, I always have Colorado as safe. But now I'm thinking it's likely with Cornel West, because this is another very progressive state with lots of Democrats. Lots of Democrats may be switching to Cornel West. New Mexico, just a very Democratic state, but it's never quite safe. That's going to be a likely margin for Joe Biden. And then we have, where should we go next? Yeah, Virginia is a state where, it used to be close, but ever since Trump, it has, become very Democratic. The voters here, the independents, the Democrats, many Republicans do not like Donald Trump. They are more traditional Republicans in the state. They're more of a traditional conservative state. So I don't think that Trump would do well in Virginia at all, even with Cornel West. That's going to be a likely state for Joe Biden. Same goes for Minnesota. It's like New Mexico, very Democratic, not quite safe. But I don't think Biden will have any trouble winning the state of Minnesota. And then we go to New Hampshire, where this state has really shifted to the left since Trump took office, just like Virginia. There's a lot of independent-minded voters. Cornel West could do kind of well here, but he's only polling at 5 or 6%, which is so great for a Green Party candidate, but definitely not enough to tilt this, to make it close at all, really. Maine at large. Cornel West, honestly, could make Maine's first likely. And saying that Trump did in 2016, was able against Hillary, this one, he might be able to take 10 or 15% away, really, from Biden, so that it becomes likely. That's a total possibility in Maine. Maine may be Cornel West's best state, honestly. The only state that he has any sort of chance in. Maine at large, also probably likely, because of Cornel West. Let's move on. That's going to be it, actually, for likely Democratic states. Now we move on to likely Republican states. Biden at 225, very good showing so far. Donald Trump, likely states, number 1, Kansas, but this is a very much a state that's been trending to the left lately, but of course it's not like it will be really competitive at all. Alaska, likely, but if not safe, because honestly, Cornel West would take a lot of Democratic votes here. Democrats are very progressive, but, just to keep it in the realm of reality, it's probably going to be likely. Let's see, where should we go next? Maine second is interesting because, Cornel West wins a lot of votes here, but honestly, a lot of them would come from Donald Trump. We have to remember that. But still, they would mostly be from Biden. So Maine second remains likely. And then we have Ohio, Iowa, states that are not, they're stagnant. I mean, they're not trending left or right. Trump made them so much more Republican, and I don't see these going anywhere. South Carolina, almost a safe state for him. That's definitely in his column. And Texas, Cornel West could really, make Texas out of possibility if he wins. This is one where he wins 5 or 6% of the vote, if not, 6 or 7. All of that comes from Biden. So that one, Texas definitely trends right with Cornel West. It's going to be a likely margin win for Donald Trump. Florida trending so much to the right, of course, that will go likely for Trump, if not safe. I mean, we have Cornel West too. He takes a lot of the progressive votes in Central Florida away from Biden. I mean, that's probably it. Yeah, that's going to be it for Donald Trump. So that puts Joe Biden at 225, and Donald Trump with Texas and Florida really narrows the race. He's at 219 now, just 6 electoral votes separating them. I'm gonna add. No. So Biden needs 45? Yeah, 45 electoral votes to win. Donald Trump needs 51. Very, very interesting race here. Now let's move on to lean states. So these states will be decided by a 1 to 5% margin. So these are the close ones here. And we will start with Joe Biden. Definitely Nebraska second, but it narrows up a couple percentage points. That's a lean margin win for Biden. Looking at Michigan, Cornel West does win a lot of votes here, but there are a lot of people who have never voted, and I don't think it will derail Biden all that much in Michigan. I think he hangs on to Michigan and wins that state. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. But he won it by a very solid margin in 2020. So we do have to keep that in mind. It's not like it was some narrow state, like a super narrow state where, a few thousand votes will tilt this election. No, he's probably fine in Michigan. And yeah, I think he's polling well in Michigan too. And then we have, is that it? Yeah, I mean, I'm going to give Arizona to him by a lean margin. I mean, this is a state that he won by less than 1% in 2020. And, I mean, Donald Trump is just not a popular guy here in Arizona. The Republicans don't like him, the independents hate him, and the Democrats, want him, gone from the face of the earth. So, Biden hangs on to Arizona. This is one without Cornel West that nears a likely margin, but I don't think West does well here at all. Maybe 3%, 2 or 3%. So I think that Biden hangs on there, and that's going to be it. That is really going to be it, in my opinion. Moving on to Trump's lean states. Number 1, definitely Nevada. Cornel West is going to take a solid chunk of You know what? I'm going to add Cornel West because I feel like this prediction is going to be posted somewhere and that it makes no sense and no one will be thinking about how I factored in Cornel West. So, once they take the screenshot at the end, they will see that I was including Cornel West. So, you know what? There we go. Anyway, with Cornel West in Nevada, definitely taking a lot of progressive votes away. Maybe 4 or 5%. Still, that derails Biden hard. But still, even with Trump versus Biden, without Cornel West in the race, I still think it goes to Trump. A trending right state that Biden will have much trouble in going forward. Anyway, moving on. We're still on Trump's lean states, and I don't see why everyone is thinking North Carolina flips. North Carolina, I'm thinking stays with Trump because everyone is thinking that 2024 will be a blowout, will be a blue wave. I would have to disagree with them. Polls are really showing, Trump winning a lot of these states and winning the popular vote somehow when the polls totally overestimated Trump in 2020. Overestimated Biden in 2020. And they totally overestimated Trump in 2016. So if they're now showing Trump winning, I think that Trump is not going to do as bad as many people are saying. North Carolina, I don't see any reason for it to flip. I really don't. Even with the gubernatorial ballot in 2020, Trump still won here by what? It was a lean margin, right? It was lean or tilt, but yeah, I think it was lean, just over a percentage point. So in 2024, I don't see it flipping. I really don't. Let's move on now. We're still with our lean lean Republican states. I mean, yeah, no. And that's it. I think that the rest are going to be tilt. Biden is at 252. Trump is at 241. Biden needs just 18 more electoral votes to win. That's either Pennsylvania alone or Wisconsin with Pennsylvania. Sorry, no. Or Wisconsin plus Georgia. You get it. Trump needs 29 more electoral votes to win. So that means that he could win Wisconsin plus Pennsylvania. He can't just win Pennsylvania. He needs Wisconsin plus Pennsylvania, or he needs Georgia plus Pennsylvania. Might be a little difficult for him. Anyway, let's do this. The rest are two. Starting with Wisconsin, I think Trump flips it. I think that this is a flip from 2020 because polls are showing him doing very well here. And, the white working class voters are what you need to win in these blue wall states. And, Biden won them in 2020 after Trump won them in 2016. But with all of this money going to Ukraine and Republicans making that a central issue, especially for these white working class voters here, they're not going to be in favor of that. When if they talk about how much we're failing here in the homeland, and also that we're sending this money to Ukraine, honestly, that will be a winning message. And just the fact that America is failing so hard in these regions, so badly, I think it'd be enough for Republicans to win them back, for Trump to win them back, because he is still seen by them as, especially since he's out of office, a champion of white working class people. Or not white specifically, but that's who he's going to win, really. And then we have, let's go to Georgia. So Georgia is tough, but honestly, with Cornel West in the race, I hate that to talk about Cornel West in every competitive state, but really, we have to do this. I think with him and him, he probably wins 4 or 5% of the vote just from Atlanta. He'll do very well in the Atlanta region, just because of his percentage. Most of it's coming from Biden. I think that Georgia flips to Trump. I really do. I think that Trump wins Georgia by a tilt margin. Anyway, let's move on. So Biden is at 252 still, and Trump is at 267. So it all comes down to who wins Pennsylvania. Who will do it? But what if Cornel West wins Pennsylvania? Then the election goes to the House. Just kidding. I'm not giving Pennsylvania to Cornel West. Anyway, whoever wins Pennsylvania wins this election. And I think... Geez, this is so tough. Because, yes, Republicans did poorly here, but I seriously think that so much of that was just because of Roe. And Roe will not be big of an issue, but Democrats will make it an issue. That is for sure. And, yeah, I mean, people are still just so unhappy with Joe Biden. And people also hate Donald Trump. I mean, especially with all of the, these indictments and arrests. Even though it gets his base riled up, it doesn't mean well for independent voters. And even though it might help in Wisconsin, those independent voters might like it. Might think it's cool or whatever. I think that Pennsylvania, it's different. And I think that Biden wins Pennsylvania by a narrow margin, just, because of all these issues Trump is getting into, even with Cornel West. Cornel West Pennsylvania's not a state where he's going to do well. He's going to win maybe 1, 2, 3% of the vote, right? So it won't be that big of an issue. But I think that Biden wins, and that it puts him over the edge by just one electoral vote, and that's pretty crazy. So actually 2 electoral votes, but yeah, I think currently with Trump versus Biden versus West, if No Labels does not run someone, then Biden does win this election narrowly going through the map. But it will be so close, and really with more polls, my predictions have narrowed up a lot for this race. So thank you all for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed. It was fun to make, I guess. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope to see you all next time.